one. Like, oh, I
Hey,
touched it. Okay, great.
good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Faces Friday. I'm Jacob Hackett. This is the first new recording we have done since the telethon. Just a reminder, today is April 25th. You have 5 more days to donate for the telethon if you would like more information, or if you would like to donate before we close donations on Thursday. Please visit facesforautism.org / the word donate. We're on Venmo. There's Facebook fundraisers. Go find us there. My next guest for Faces Friday, coming back from the telethon, is Jim Elliott. He's going to tell you today about the Dive Hard program. I don't know if it was played, but I interviewed a participant of the Dive Hard program from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, during the telethon, Louis Marinucci. This is an extension of that interview. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Jim Elliott. Jim, thank you. It's a pleasure to meet you, speak with you today. Jim, first question. How did the Dive Hard program begin?
Well, we're 21 years old. We incorporated as a nonprofit, a 501c3 in 2001. And that basically came from my experience started in the 80s. I've been around individuals with disabilities my whole life. My father was an Army veteran with a disability. So I grew up dodging wheelchairs at the VA hospital, I tell people. But then as I grew older, I had a friend with cerebral palsy that was being picked on at school, and I would walk him to school, and when bullies would come and pick on him, I would kind of stand up for him. And I would say to them, this is kind of funny. I would say, well, you can beat him up, but you got to beat me up first. And I said, there's 3 or 4 of you, so you probably will. I said, but you'll know you were in a fight. And it's funny with bullies, 9 out of 10 times, they back down. I had to get in a fight once in a while, but and then from there, I had children with disabilities. My oldest daughter is blind from birth. And in the 80s, I got involved in downhill skiing with blind individuals and then people with different types of disabilities. So since the 80s, I've been guiding and teaching blind skiers and others with disabilities. And all that time I started thinking, because I started diving in college. I'm a journalism major, and I thought, as a reporter, I should know how to scuba dive in case I meet someone famous, like a famous diver like Jacques Cousteau, who is, really big. If you're over 40 or 50, you might know who he is. Young people may not know, but Jacques Cousteau was the kind of one of the developers of scuba, which is self-contained underwater breathing apparatus. That's what the acronym for scuba stands for. And so, like firefighters, they use SCBA, self-contained breathing apparatus. And that's the tank they wear on their back and the full face mask when they go into fires. And with scuba, we have the full face mask as well, but we use it underwater. So it's underwater breathing apparatus. So it's kind of interesting. But back in the 80s, the skiing inspired me to think about doing what we were doing in skiing, only in diving, and mainly working really in swimming pools and around the world. And what I'm a Rotarian, I've been a Lion, Shriner, so I've been with service organizations a long time. And I thought, every community has a pool. Where skiing, you can only ski at certain times of the year and certain places in the world. So why don't we grow this and get people out of wheelchairs and get them in the water and pools, and we'll introduce them to zero gravity. Like I just did a post on our Facebook page where the first private group from SpaceX went into outer space to the space station, and here they're experiencing zero gravity, floating around and smiling and stuff like that. And we do that every week in pools around in open water environments around the world. We give people that zero gravity experience all the time, and it costs a lot less than going to outer space. So that's kind of how Dive Hard got started.
Wow. I mean, the zero gravity, you've heard this, I'm sure. Water therapy is excellent for people in wheelchairs, aqua therapy, you name it. And I mean, bringing a program like Dive Heart, you need programs like this. They need to experience real world, hands on activity because, hey, just because they're in a wheelchair, just because they have significant disabilities, does not mean at all that they shouldn't experience the same things that other people do.
Yeah, we like to say we're all equal underwater.
Yeah, I like that. Yes, we are equal underwater. Water is an amazing. What do they say? Many people are fishes out of water when they get placed in water. An amazing program. Currently, Jim, where are you in regards to? Are you all over the world? Are you centralized in one area? Where is Dive Heart? If someone.
Well, it's funny because when we started Dive Heart, I thought we were going to be like the ski group, which was a little club kind of thing. It was a nonprofit as well, and we would do things being based just west of Chicago in Downers Grove. We would like go to Wisconsin to go skiing. And then once in a year, we would go to Colorado. And then we'd have a pizza party to do a fundraiser, where I thought that was kind of going to be what we did with Dive Heart. I thought we'll do pool stuff, and then we'll do stuff at the quarry in the summer, and then we'll do a trip once a year or something like that. Well, when COVID hit, we canceled 11 trips. 7 of them were international. We canceled 200 pool programs just in the US in 2020. And we had, and our programs in different parts of the world continued. Like one of our biggest programs is in Malaysia, in Kuala Lumpur, and in Borneo. And we've trained instructors all over the world. So we train instructors, and we do conduct adaptive diving trips. We don't call them handicap diving or disabled diving. We call them adaptive, because really, regardless of your abilities, it's all about adapting to whatever the circumstances are in your life. And that's how we look at it. So I have to adapt to certain things and to do this as well. I wear contacts when I go diving. If I lost one, I carry a backup mask with a prescription. So there's all sorts of different things that we all have to do as we get older. I'm a baby boomer. As baby boomers get older, they have to adapt the way they do things. So that's what it's all about, really.
Yeah, adapt and overcome, as I like to say.
Mm-hmm.
And accessibility has been one of my strong points, coming out of the pandemic. But you want to make programs, whether they're in Kuala Lumpur, you want to make programs accessible. And I have to say, I think Dive Heart is doing a phenomenal, from the things that I've read, a phenomenal job in doing so.
Well, thank you. Our mission really, it's not for Dive Heart to do all the adaptive scuba programs in the world, because that's impossible. And each program you start, it's like having another child. It means you have to take care of that child, oversee that child. When the child cries, you have to go deal with it, change its diaper or whatever. And it sounds funny, but we've helped spin off 50 nonprofits around the world. And like I said, I've trained thousands of instructors and dive masters and divers to work with people with disabilities in their community. And I teach them how to work with Rotary clubs and Lions clubs and Knights of Columbus and Kiwanians and you name it. We teach them how to do that so that it's a community thing, so that they're reaching out to people in their community. 1 out of 5 people, as you know, have a disability in our country and really kind of around the world. So it varies, but, someone might have a traumatic brain injury or PTSD, another might have cerebral palsy or autism, and others might have spinal cord injuries or a stroke. So we work with all those groups. And I tell people that there's a lot of great therapies out there in the world, but Dive Heart and scuba therapy and adaptive scuba, we really have the franchise on zero gravity. So it's like you can do a lot of things, but you're still dealing with gravity. And we get you out of the wheelchair. And the thrill for me is to get somebody who's a wheelchair user, for example, to stand up underwater using their breath and get them weighted properly, and have them look down at their legs, and they're standing for the first time, perhaps since their injury, or if they're born with cerebral palsy or an illness, an injury that doesn't allow them to get out of a wheelchair. They may have been in that wheelchair their entire life. I get them in 30 minutes. I can get them independent underwater. 9 out of 10 people. Sometimes we have to work a little bit longer, but with the skiing, with the blind skiing, it would take me weeks to get somebody on a hill where I could actually guide them down the hill independently, where they were skiing and feeling the turns and stuff. But in the water, 30 minutes, boom, I got you. I got teach you how to breathe, to get you weighted properly. There's 3 of us or 2 of us in the water with you. Make sure you're safe, adjusting your equipment if we need to. So you really don't have to do anything but breathe. A good example of that, I'm going to show you a picture from our brochure, but this is Anna. Anna has no arms and no legs. So she was born with no arms and no legs, but she's in this picture on our brochure. She's independent, completely controlling her destiny by using her breathing, which is really cool.
Wow. Wow, Jim. That's fascinating and good for her for telling her story. I know, next question, I know I mentioned Lewis in the beginning. Tell me how you met him.
Lewis found us, and people can find us at diveheart.org. We're a nonprofit. So when they go there, there's many things they can look at. They can look at our calendar and see where to go. So I believe, he found us and came to us on a trip. He might have had an instructor reach out to us initially where he wanted to dive. I believe he contacted somebody maybe in Roatan originally, and they reached out to us, and then we connected with Lewis. And then we've had a great relationship ever since. Lewis has been on several trips with us to Cozumel, Mexico. And we like to take people to Cozumel, Mexico, because the current helps move people through the water, and then we don't have to hold on to them. We teach them how to breathe and use their breath. And then, like Anna, the girl with no arms and no legs, they float through the water, and the current moves them gently through the water. And
wow.
Yeah. So whatever abilities they have, if they have some arm movement, upper body movement, they can turn themselves in the water and look at their buddies, and they can look at the coral reef and do all sorts of cool stuff independently. And if something happens where we need to go in and help them, we go in and we hold on to their equipment, and we make whatever adjustments we need to, and then we can back off again and let them be independent again. But that's how we met him, through a mutual dive professional. And then he started helping us at trade shows in New Jersey, scuba shows that I was telling you about earlier.
Right. Wow. What a fascinating program, Jim. Tell us, what do you have, anything coming up?
Yes. Next Saturday, on the 30th of April, we have adaptive divers that we are bringing to Cozumel, Mexico again. We have 3 trips planned for Cozumel this year: April to the 7th of May, and then August, and then December. December is usually our biggest trip. This last December, we brought a filmmaker from Los Angeles with us who wanted to do a documentary on Dive Heart. And he came with us, and on the 18th of May, we're going to do a world premiere in Downers Grove, where we're based, west of Chicago. And we've rented out, one of our board members rented out a 1,000-seat theater. So we're going to be showing this premiere there, and a couple of short short documentaries that were done on Dive Heart and covering different aspects of what we do. So that's exciting. But then we also have a trip to Roatan. We have our first all-female or all-women's trip of Dive Heart to Bonaire. My executive director, Tina Marie Hernandez, is running that. And then we have some trips to Florida that we do as well.
Wow. Would that documentary be accessible for us to watch online?
Yeah, the last documentary this filmmaker did ended up on Amazon Prime. So once we're done with the documentary at the world premiere on the 18th, I'm pretty sure that after that, it's going to be made accessible. It might be picked up by Amazon or Netflix or Hulu. You'll be able to get it that way, but we'll be sharing it as well on probably on YouTube or someplace that we're able to share it, without a problem to our friends at Dive Heart.
Wonderful, wonderful. Friends, if you want to get involved in Dive Heart, Jim told you, I'll repeat it one more time, diveheart.org. If you would like to contact Jim about anything, upcoming trips, this sounds interesting, I want to get involved.
Sure.
Contact Jim Eliott at one word, Dive Heart, HEART.org.
It's the easy button because my name is spelled with two L's and two T's, and heart is spelled HEART. The easy button is simply info, INFO, like information, abbreviated, info at diveheart.org. But if you go to diveheart.org, all that information's on there. You can call. When you call the number, you'll get me directly because all the calls come to me. The email address is right there on the website, diveheart.org. You can go to Facebook and look at the Dive Heart Facebook page and talk to us through Facebook or LinkedIn. So there's a lot of different ways to reach us.
Wow. Like I said, friends, what a fascinating program. Jim gave you the contact. Friends, April is coming to a close. Please donate. The telethon is almost over. It ends Thursday or Friday, Sunday. My bad. It ends Saturday. It's the last day of April. Friends, please donate. Jim, thank you so much, and friends, thank you for supporting Faces. And we will stop the recording.